Skating. Yeah, so just tell me a little bit about the boat and why you're selling it and so forth.
Okay. Yes, I currently have three boats, and this is the older of the three, and it's a great boat. But I'm actually getting a bigger boat, so that's the main reason for selling the boat is I'm getting a bigger boat. Um, so uh, this boat is it's a 2001 made by Catamaran Cruisers, and so as you can see, the construction on it is fiberglass. Mainly, it's aluminum and fiberglass. Um, with wood core panels. So these panels, this is fiberglass. Um, it's plywood sandwiched with fiberglass. So there's fiberglass on both sides. You'll see on the inside what that looks like. And so it's a tri-hull. There's three pontoons, and they're fiberglass. It's all hand laid fiberglass. There's no wood in the hulls at all, and they're compartmentized. So they're all. It's not Coast Guard certified, but it's built to Coast Guard standards with as far as that kind of construction. At the back here we have outboard motors, and they're Yamahas. So these are Yamaha 4-stroke. They're 100s, and then we have two air-cooled generators right here. So if you want to walk around, you can show that right there. These are Generac air generators. Let me lower this one motor down here so we can.
How many hours do you think's on the motor?
The motors have about, I want to say they're close to 3,000 hours. And I'll take the hood off here so you can see it. Yeah, and they're in great shape. They're the 4-stroke engines, and got the hydraulic steering, and they just run like a champ. So and we don't run them hard. See, we're doing dinner cruises and whatnot. So we're not pulling skiers, we're not going fast. So the motors have never really seen the kind of work they would see if they were on a normal ski boat or a smaller boat of some sort. But the generators, you'll be able to see right here. I'll take this one off, this panel off here. They're air-cooled Generacs. They're 75 kW Generacs, and there's two of them. So we have two because we have 4 roof air conditioners inside. You'll see those. And so that distributes the power, so you can run 2 air conditioners off each generator. So that's how that works. And well, while we're back here, there's 2 fuel tanks. There's a fuel tank here, a fuel tank on the other side, and another generator. Same setup on both sides. So there's 40 gallons of fuel here, 40 gallons of fuel there, and this is where the batteries and all the micro commanders and stuff are in this box here. And we have a ladder that goes up the back. Let me hop up here. So this ladder goes up the back, and it's canvas. You have this canvas up here. So, all right, so let's go inside. So yes, so what we see here is the inside of these walls. This is the inside of that fiberglass panel. So it's not a studded walls. There's no studs. It's just the panel itself. And so we have tables and chairs set up in here as such. So what I would do, what the boat needs, it needs, I think, to have a new floor put in. The vinyl floor is well worn. And then along the ceiling up here, this has the acoustic. It's like an acoustic ceiling. We've had a couple of leaks over the years, and so this is painted. So it needs to be repainted, in my opinion. The leak's been fixed, but this is that acoustic. It's very porous. So yes, it needs to be spruced up a little bit. But you can configure it however you wish. We have it all set up like this. It works out good. We have the banquet tables are set up here. This is where we set up our fajitas in the food and whatnot. Let's look at the back here. Let me show you the. As you can see, we have 2 restrooms in the back. The bar in the middle with these 2 restrooms. And that's what she was just looking at. So it's got a toilet and a sink, and pretty basic. And it all works well. These are direct dump toilets. There's no macerator. They're not electric. They drop straight through, so they're easy to maintain, and they pump out easily, and it works out well. And then so back here, as you can see, we have a sink. We don't do any cooking on the boat, so there's no stoves, there's no hot plates and stuff like that. So our caterer brings the food pre-prepared, and we don't allow people to barbecue. There's no barbecue pits, and that's just all messy stuff. So we've always stayed away from that. So basically, you just have a sink. We have an ice well here for them to put their drinks and things in, and then I put this cabinet in for we have beverages and things in that cabinet there. But that's it. Now on the left over there's a stereo back in that corner. It's a regular, it's an RV type stereo. It's got XM hooked up there, and they can do their iPod and all that. I got the electrical panels there, some of the electrical panels, and no garbage disposal. That's an electrical panel, but it's hard to open. You have to twist that, and that's a real tough.
It's no big deal.
It's just a breaker panel. Yeah. Actually, that's the 12 volt. The 12 volt circuits are in that. So. But I will point out a couple of things because he will need to know this. Let me switch places with you here. There's a couple places that will need to be repaired, and one is back here at the back. There's a soft spot in the floor back here. The floor is plywood, but the floor joists are aluminum. So it's an aluminum. You got the fiberglass hulls, which there's no wood in the hulls, and then the floor structure is all aluminum. And then they put marine plywood on top of that. And then they put this flooring on here. So there's a couple places where there's some soft spots that need to be fixed. So this is one area back here in the back, and I think there's a small spot right back here. But that's not the end of the world. That's not that difficult to work on. And let's see. Yeah, so we already talked about the floor. I would replace the flooring. At that time, you could do some of that wood repair on those soft spots. As we go to the front here, there's no soft spots in any of this. The floor is all in great shape. Let's go out the front here. Now we have 2 patio doors on the front. We don't use that one because we have our food set up here. We found that just one door works fine, but you don't have to configure it this way. You can open both these doors if you wish. So. So what we have is this is essentially the front deck of the boat, which there's not a lot of space here because this boat has mainly the space inside. Our other boats have some more space out front because we've sacrificed inside space for the outside space. But we have there's a swim ladder right here. This ladder, you unclip this ladder. This ladder folds out. So we do a lot of swimming cruises. You know, during the summer, probably 75 or 80% of our cruises are swimming related. So we'll let the anchor. We'll anchor the boat. We have our anchors, of course, and then these gates open up. These front gates open, and people swim. So it's a swimming deal. And the canvas that's around here, the canvas around is original, and we just keep it zip tied with zip ties. And that works. There's a couple places where there's a tear or two, and so I would consider replacing the canvas, and I would consider replacing it with a solid panel instead of a canvas, like an aluminum paneling of some sort. But that's up to you. Okay, so now I guess we'll go upstairs, and watch your step as we go here. And so yeah, so we have up here is okay. This is the other. The roof is made of this plywood as well, and we have all these benches and handrails, and so over the years there's been places where the screws will leak and whatnot, and we've tried to keep up with that. But when you transport the boat, all this has to come off. Okay, you have to take everything down to the deck. So all this canopy has to come apart, all the benches come off, and all the handrails have to come off. So at that time, when all that stuff's off, would be a good time to patch all the holes from where the handrails and everything have all been screwed in. This is a gel coat. This is a fiberglass gel coat over plywood. So in my opinion, it needs to be re-gel coated to take care of all that. And actually, if we were going to keep the boat, what my plan was to get rid of all the benches, get rid of the canopy, and have it all just be open. And you can see my other boat over here, the one right behind us. And that's a good example of what I'm talking about. See, it's all open. So that boat's the same size. It's essentially the same boat. But there's no benches, so you can arrange your chairs and your tables differently, however you want, and people can get sun. It's amazing that people, that even on the hottest days, they want to be in the sun. It's crazy. So anyway, so the canopy works fine, but if I was going to keep the boat, I would probably take all the benches out and take the canopy off and leave it off. And so you will have that option because all this has to come off for transport. And so at that point, I would re-gel coat the roof and maybe consider changing out the canvas. But the canvas is fine. You just have to keep up with the